Hello everybody, I'm Morgana Galaxia. Welcome to my channel. So glad you're with me today. I want to get into some tarot reading today about the GOP, the Democratic Party, and Trump supporters. So we're all seeing the GOP basically crack right in front of us. Looks like they're going to be splitting into two, or what the GOP's having this tower moment. Their foundations are cracking, their members are toppling or fleeing. And I mean, it's just cray cray, okay? They have just wackadoodle members that are seeming to be more protected and to be more powerful than long-term established Republicans, okay? Things are just changing for them. So I want to take a look at the future of the GOP. And the Democrats aren't living in a vacuum, right? So everything that's happening to the GOP is going to somehow affect the Democrats. So I just want to take a look at the Democratic Party as well, moving forward, how they're going to fare as a party. And then finally, I want to look at Trump supporters. They are really the problem. Yeah, Giuliani and Trump and Gates and all these cray-cray people in Congress and stuff. The only reason that all these people are able to behave as the way they do is because of Trump's base. Whether it's, death threats and harassing people, threatening their families, threatening to vote them out of office, heckling them in airports, storming the Capitol, what have you, social media, the whole thing. All of this, they are the foundation. They're the foundation of what has happened to the GOP. So obviously Trump and his base, that was a partnership, an energetic partnership that allowed that chaos to happen. But now that Trump's gone and Biden is in, and it seems like finally people are trying to maybe start telling them the truth. They're going to be coming face to face more and more with the truth about the election and the truth about Trump and different officials. I just want to take a look at how they're going to fare. Are they going to double down, triple down, quadruple down, and move forward being a cancer, in the country? Or, are they going to be able to transform themselves back into normal people again? Okay, so that's the kind of three things I want to look at today. And let's start with the grand old party. GOP. GOP. Show us the future of the GOP. My goodness, so many Republican stalwarts have left the party. I'll tell you, for me, seeing Colin Powell give up his Republican membership, doesn't that say it all? That says it all. He was the best face of the GOP party. I mean, that is really about as good as you can get as a Republican. Honest, noble. I know he had that whole issue with the Iraq war back in the day, but aside from that, well respected, by both parties, completely upstanding, integrity. He's kind of, that ideal Republican, and he had to drop it. He had to leave. People from Bush W's, administration dropping like flies. I mean, they're attacking Liz Cheney, right? Cheney's daughter. That really just, if Marjorie Taylor Greene can be more protected and more supported than Liz Cheney, the daughter of Dick Cheney, that is a huge sign telling you where the GOP is going, okay? All right, so that's my preamble. Spirit, show us the future of the grand old party. And let's bring it down, huh? All right. My glasses. Oh, all right. Future of the GOP. Yep. Okay, so we're starting off here with the World card. So immediately I'm thinking what's happened to the GOP because of Trump is not an isolated incident. Look right over to Europe and into Britain and Boris. What the hell is his name? I can't believe I just forgot his name. Whatever. Britain's Trump over there doing the same thing. Okay, just anti-immigration, super conservative. This whole kind of energy rolled out across the world. And yes, we're dealing with it here in the United States. Is telling us it's not just us. A lot of different places are dealing with this sort of authoritarianism. And this is a worldwide phenomenon. In addition, of course, the world is watching the GOP. The whole world is watching what's going on right now since this Capitol riot. I mean, they've been watching since Trump, but this riot just really notched it up, right? Everybody's like glued to their televisions. What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they going to do next? Their challenge with the hermit is that they're being isolated. Their challenge is that they're not finding their wisdom, okay? They're not isolating themselves, going into discussions, trying to figure out right and wrong, trying to gain wisdom, trying to follow the light, okay? The hermit, he holds the lantern, the wisdom. That wisdom of the elder, the one who just with experience and just introspection just grows wise and evolves and becomes better and better, more spiritually evolved, what have you. They are not doing that. They're shallow thinkers. They're not thinking in depth. They're not trying to figure out core issues or consequences or what will happen if we do X, Y, Z. They're kind of being stupid, all right? I'll just summarize it that way. They're being completely thoughtless, completely stupid. Their surface, it's all surface issues. There's no depth to their thinking or reasoning or strategy at all. They're just not using their critical thinking faculty. They're impaired. I would definitely say that this is pointing to mental impairment. They're not seeing the true picture. They're just not doing the work that they need to do to find their truth and find their light and evolve. The lovers, okay, they're going to come face to face. Have to come face to face with are their ties to, I'll say in this case, to Trump, and also because Trump's now for the most part gone, this is their ties with Trump's base. All those Trumpsters who are, got them in a locked up partnership. They can't get out of this. They can't get out of this bond that they have with Trump's base. If they turn on Trump, support impeachment, things of that nature, or start trying to shed people like Marjorie Thomas Taylor and Lauren Boebert, they start turning away from that partnership with Trump, that base is right there to freaking hammer them. And they're going to have to come face to face with how do they break up with Trump's base? How are they going to do that without spilling blood? Foundationally, with the Ace of Wands. So this is telling us that the very foundation of this question is that they're on new ground. It's a new beginning, new work, new administration, a new Congress has been seated, right? There's new people taking their seats. There's new work that's going to be flowing from the White House and from Biden down through the Congress. So they have an opportunity. They have an opportunity to begin anew. They have that there. They can just grab it. And it will take communication. They'll need to talk to Trump's base, and they need to talk to moderate Republicans. They need to It's all about sort of uniting their tent. They have an opportunity. So in the recent past, just one moment, please. Sorry about that. My cats were demanding for me to open a door. Anybody who has cats know that they hate closed doors. But I digress. Let's get back to the reading. So GOP recent pass is this Queen of Pentacles. And right away where I'm going with this is the funding sources, the shoot, just had the word in my head, now it's gone. All those, you know, those rich people who are just funding these politicians. So this is the money, the big money, okay? That's that good. Okay, so we're talking the money donors here, okay? The big money, the elites, funneling that money down. It's money, money, money. And with this Queen of Pentacles, I think this is pointing to a big female donor, okay? And two women are coming to mind. One is Ginny Thomas, Clarence Thomas's wife, who put a lot of money into transportation for that riot. And the other woman is that woman who was just on the news, that Publix grocery store heiress, Rochelle something or other, who has mega money, and she paid for the majority of Trump's insurrection for his rally, that rally prior to the insurrection. So this is big donors, big money, which really has a grip on the GOP, is what this card is telling us here. They will follow the money. And the outcome, here's Trump's old Emperor card. So this is telling me is that at least a part of the GOP party is going to stick with Trump. At least part of the party is going to stick with Trump. He will remain their emperor. And it's because they are bonded and committed to Trump's base, and Trump's base will not let these people off the hook. And also, you know, they've infiltrated, okay? So Boebert, Taylor Greene, these people, these conspiracy theorist people have infiltrated the House and Senate. And this is what Nancy Pelosi meant when she said the enemy is within. And right now, from what I see, they are not going to be turning away from Trump in the foreseeable future. His base is too strong. So let's just go right into Trump's base, okay? And I'm not talking, notice I'm not saying Republicans, because I know that there are Republicans out in the world who are normal and sane and recognize what's in their face, and I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the rabid crazies, okay? The Boeberts, the Taylor Greenes, the Gateses, the Jordans, although they're members of Congress, but you know, those people, you know, the uncle you can't invite to Thanksgiving anymore, your parents who just support Trump no matter what. I mean, just those people who showed up at the Capitol. You know, not all of them were there to tear the place down. All those people were there, though, because they followed Trump. They believe him. Okay, I don't mean to go on, you guys. All right, so this is Trump's base. We know who they are. And you know they're at a crossroads right now because Trump is gone. And while Trump will continue to ask for money from them, he will not be providing anything for these people. He wants to start a Patriot Party, right? Are these people going to become the Patriot Party? Will they give up their Republican memberships and make a different party? Or will they take over the Republican Party and just completely make it, you know, just this wackadoodle cult? Or will they all come to their senses and kind of go back to normal over the course of time and just become regular people again? And maybe in a couple decades, they'll look back at this time and go, oh, what was I thinking? He tricked me. I didn't know. I figured it out years later. That was a weird part of my life, you know? And obviously, all these things could happen because there's 70 million people in Trump's party, right? That's how many people voted for him the second election. It just blows my mind. Okay, so I want to look at the future of these people as a homogenous group, okay? As this big blob of Trump supporters. What is the future of this group? Let's take a quick look, huh? All right. Trump supporters. What is the future of Trump supporters? My goodness. Okay. All right. So here we're starting with the Three of Wands. And what I see here is, so they have a choice in front of them. They can either fly off over these turbulent waters and try and reach the other shore, try and reach the other side, fly off and try and find an easier, smoother place to be. Some of them may try and cross the divide and get to the other side, stay where they are, and consider this a hurdle, a bump that they can navigate and just sort of stay where they are. So as a group, I think they're still not quite sure where they're going with this. Are they going to stay and hunker down and continue to fight, or are they just going to disperse and head for smoother waters? So both of those things are happening. So this is at minimum pointing to somewhat of a split or a reduction in Trump's base, because at least while some may stay, some will go, okay? What's their challenge? With the Two of Wands, their challenge is harmoniousness and partnership and cooperation with others. These people in Trump's base, a lot of them live in a bubble. So they're surrounded by other Trumpsters, but a lot of them don't. And they've been losing friends and losing family, losing their jobs, losing their reputations. And I think that this disharmony and these loss of their friendships and relationships is really challenging to a lot of these people. What they're facing, of course, especially the violent ones that storm the Capitol, is they're going to come face to face with the government. The government as law enforcement, the government as a new administration, the government as a new attorney general and Department of Justice, right? They're going to if they haven't already, they're going to start accruing consequences for their actions. The government's going to be looking at them, monitoring them, watching them, making sure that they don't do anything like they did on the 6th. Foundationally, though, here's a tower. It's, their group, their world, everything they've been standing on has crumbled, okay? The ground has cracked out from under them. Everything's crumbling down. So basically, this is just telling us that the loss of Trump in his second election really just sort of broke the foundation that this group has to stand on. And they can't ignore it, okay? They can't pretend it didn't happen. So in other words, if they're going to continue to try and be a group and make themselves into the Patriot Party, they can do that, but it's just their very foundation has cracked and shifted. They're just not in the same place. They don't have that sure footing. They don't have the confidence that they had before. They didn't have the protection and the funding. Everything that Trump gave them that built them up is gone. It's gone. And this is going to force them to rethink their futures, rethink how they want to live, rethink how they just want, what kind of people they want to be, rethink the very foundations of their belief systems, because what's been the foundation so far has cracked and is falling away. So this is a huge moment. I mean, the tower moment, there's no recovering from this. They will have to change. They'll have to change. And here in their recent past is their brokenheartedness. This is what drove them to the Capitol that day. They're brokenhearted. They're anguished, they're enraged, they're feeling betrayed, all the worst negative emotions that you can have in your heart, they're feeling. And, that's what led to their action that day. But it's also, Trump's loss, just everything. They're just aggrieved. They're absolutely aggrieved, and they're feeling betrayed and anguished and upset. And that's where they are. And they're with this card here, the 10 of Wands, is telling us that they're going to be carrying that burden forward. Yeah, they're carrying that burden forward. The emotional burdens, all the lies, all the deceit, they're carrying it forward and leaving those. So I'm going to say this card between the Tower and this card right here and the first card, I think what we're looking at is a split in the party, okay? Some want to stay, some want to go. They're all feeling aggrieved and betrayed, and they're all going to have different responses to that. But their foundation's gone. Their foundation's gone. It's like a scattering, and they're going to start going in different directions, and some of them are going to take their grievances and they're going to leave. And they're going to, I'm going to say, form their own party. So I think that we can expect to see the formation of the Patriot Party, consisting of the worst, the most radical of Trump supporters. They're going to continue. And I think what's left of the Republican Party, the moderates, or even the conservatives who just couldn't deprave themselves in that way, just didn't jump on that boat, are going to remain in a very fractured and broken GOP, and they'll do what they can to make it better. But yes, it does look like the worst of the worst, the most aggrieved, are going to take their beliefs and head on out and form their new party. Okay, so let's look at the Democrats. The Democrats. Oh, the Democrats. So all these things happening in the world will affect them as well. They're obviously in a much better position. They got the House, they got the Senate, they have the presidency, and with Biden, they have what's by all accounts a good and solid leader. He has solid character, ethics and values, a lot of experience, wisdom. He's not trying to play the game, okay? He's trying to end the game and bring legislation and the government back to what it used to be. He wants to bring it back to a working and functional government. Part of that, though, is holding people accountable and serving justice. And, that has been, for me, always the Democrats' weakness, okay? They're always just that feel good, let's move on, let's not look backwards. They're not about punishing, right? But I don't see how that's feasible this time. If you leave the enemy within and you don't do anything to root them out, they will continually sabotage the government and the administration. Okay, so the Democratic Party, Biden, the new AG, the cabinet, Schumer, Congress, Pelosi, all of them, and all of us. The Democratic Party. Show me the future of the Democratic Party. How, next 6 months to a year, future of the Democratic Party. Let's take a look. Let's bring it down. Put my glasses on as usual. All right. All righty. So we're starting out with the Empress. The Empress. So this is telling us that the Democratic Party is in an energy of abundance. They are guardians of the land. Okay, so the Empress has all these wonderful feminine qualities, okay? She's a caretaker of the land, nurturing nature, the apples on the trees, right? Just growth, life, abundance, benevolence, harmony, just lush richness of life is there to just take care of you, okay? And this is the face of the question, the face of the Democratic Party right now. So some of the things that this card is pointing to is that the Democrats want to pass that stimulus package. They want to distribute food out to everyone across the land, disseminate the vaccine to everyone across the land. Okay, you can see their concern with the people across the land here. This isn't a selfish service to self kind of card. This is all about serving others. Abundance flows, letting that money flow across the land and help all of those in need. So they're coming from a really good place here. The other thing this card is pointing to is environmental concerns, climate change. It is their goal to turn this back into, a lush living garden planet, balance the climate, protect water, protect the land, right? Protect all our natural resources. So this is going to be the focus, I think, for the Democratic Party: climate change, protecting the populace, spreading abundance out across the land. And, with the Empress just being that feminine energy, women in power, okay? Let's not forget, so many women and good people in power, with a special shout out to a Secretary of the Interior. Okay, what their challenge is going to be with the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, pretty. So their challenge is the stimulus. The challenge is people are broke and they need to get money out there to help people as much as possible. Stimulus payments, unemployment protection, getting people to be able to sort of pad their nest a little bit, get a little nest egg. People need a little bit of security. That is their challenge. Everybody's broke. For them, that's what abundance is. You have what you need, and then you have a little more to try and build that nest egg, right? They want to get America back to that. Individual families having that sort of buffer, that nest egg, a little bit of money in their pockets, that is their biggest challenge, because the money's been funneling up to the top for so long. It's going to be very challenging to get that money back out across the land to the people. What they're going to be facing, here's this Three of Wands again. Oh, here's one moment. So what they're going to be facing here with this Three of Wands is, I believe this is them. They're building bridges and they're looking to shore up their allies. Okay, looking back overseas, reforming relationships, building bridges, trying to get, I think, the international order a little shaped up here is kind of the sense I'm getting with this card. You're kind of waiting for your ship to come in. So I think they're waiting, they're biding their time here a little bit as well, waiting for some opportunities to show themselves, opportunities with our allies overseas, opportunities maybe from state to state, to make some things happen, to kind of get ourselves over this rough patch, this rough seas, this turbulent time that we're in. They're trying to bridge that. They're just trying to make a bridge for the US to sort of cross this turbulent period intact. So that is the face of it, what they're absolutely faced with doing right now. And that's what the whole stimulus package and everything else is about. Building a bridge from now and to a better future, okay? Getting us through these rough waters. So foundationally, we have the Six of Wands. So foundationally, I feel like, since I'm getting with this card is leadership, there's going to have to be certain leaders who really take the reins here to make things happen. So this is definitely Biden, but it could be others as well, others that are heading cabinets, you know, who really are going to be powerful leaders. People are going to look to them to be decisive, make things happen, bring hope and optimism, and yeah, just let's get that fire of action going, right? This fire, this is all action, it's all passion, making things happen, making things happen. That is foundational here. So I think that's what this is telling me, is that Biden has picked some strong people. A lot of these people Biden picked are just going to be key players, very strong leaders in making some good things happen for us. That is going to be the foundation of the Democrats moving forward, are just having some great people in place. So the period we've just come through with the Chariot, ooh, yeah, things have been moving fast. Everything's moving fast. I mean, just the election and all the legal issues and the GOP imploding and Trump and the base and all these cray-cray people and the impeachment and the hearings and the cabinet nominations and vetting and voting on people and finding stuff out about a bunch of people. And I mean, it's just like, there's so much going on and it's all happening so fast. But with this Chariot, this is telling us that the Democratic Party, they're in it. They're in it to win it, okay? And this isn't the past. This is telling us that they've already been taking the steps they need to take, getting the resources together, building their strength so they can jump on that Chariot and head into battle. They are well prepared and they're strong, and victory is promised to them. Okay, victory is on their side with this Chariot card. So this shows a righteous fight for the good of all, for the highest value, good of the American people. They've got right on their side, and that's really has propelled them. It's given them the energy, the impetus to battle as best they can for all of us. And going into the future, the outcome card is the World. So again, this is an ending card. It's the completion of a grand cycle. So this is telling me, on one hand, the Democrats are going to help guide us out of this fiasco that we've been in and into a new world, a better world, just more harmonious, better relationships, into victory. We're going to have our ethics back, our integrity back, our self-respect, respect from others. All those wonderful things are going to come anew, because this horrible cycle we've been in has ended, and they're going to carry us through into a new cycle. It also, of course, indicates the world is watching. And it also points to our international relations. Like I mentioned, they're going to be reaching out to our allies, rebuilding those relationships, re-strengthening them, maybe making new relationships that we didn't have before. Just trying to normalize relations with different nations. It's like a new world order, but in its best sense, trying to reorder the world and the relationships for the highest good of all, for peace for all, to improve the climate for all. A lot of the issues Democrats are going to be dealing with are international issues, climate change being the best example. We can be leaders, but we can't do it alone. We need allies. Financial corruption, all that's definitely going to have overseas ties, overseas financial transactions. We're going to need our allies. So all this, fighting, for the racial elements, that race relations and justice that our country is going to be working through is going to be a guiding light for other nations as well, how they want to deal with their own internal racial injustices and struggles. So I think they're going to do us proud. Everything that's happened with the GOP, and it's really a shame that the GOP had to break down so completely and so totally for the Democrats to be able to rise and do good. But sometimes that's the rebalance. That pendulum swings as far right as it goes. That's how far left it'll go. It always swings back in equal or in equal measure, right? So as depraved and corrupted and just completely demoralized as the GOP is right now, that's giving rise to Democrats to be able to come in with strong leadership, with good, integrity, and start rebuilding, building back better. That's Biden's phrase, right? We're going to build back our international relations, build back our financial nest eggs and resources, and spread that wealth across the land. That really is kind of primarily the difference between Republicans and Democrats, right? The GOP, it's always about themselves, enriching the wealthy. It's always me, 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 me. I don't want you to have stimulus money because that'll drain my pocket. I don't want you to have debt relief because that'll empty my pocket. They don't want to give out anything because they feel it's going to deplete themselves. It's a me, me, me centered approach, whereas the Democrats are the opposite. How can we help you? How can we give you money? How can we help you get jobs? How can we help you pay for things? How can, the infrastructure, it's an outward flow of energy versus an inward flow of energy. Polar opposites. That's always what it's been about. So I think that's a great reading, actually, for the Democrats. I think they're going to do us proud on the world stage, and they're going to bring us back together in unity, and the world is watching, and I think it's going to be an inspiring thing to watch for the next 6 months to a year going forward. And that's all I have on that for today. And I want to thank you again for being with me. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me some comments. I enjoy reading them. And that's it. So have a great week, everybody. And I'll be with you in another few days. Bye.